Everybody, welcome. בעזרת השם, שיהיה רצון שהקדוש ברוך הוא תן ברכה, הצלחה, ניסים שלום, שחתונה בשנה הזה, בריאות, הרבה נחת, וגם יעקב בן אשר, בריאות, פרנסה טובה, חודש טוב בעזרת השם, בשורות טובות, וגם יברך את הקיריל דניאל בן מיכאל, ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה דסייעתא דשמיא, גם את וגנסי בשקט. וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. 1000 הבדלות בין המתים לחיים, לעילוי נשמת רום הרחמים בן ליה, נלה מזל. רוח השם תנחנו בגן עדן הוא וכל השוכבים עמו בכל הרחמים והסליחות, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. So please forward the shiurim, subscribe, put a comments, let us know whatever the topic that you want to hear on how we're able to improve the shiurim and able to spread more Torah to the Am Yisrael B'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. So it says over here in a Pirkei Avot. We continue with chapter 4, Mishnah Yud Aleph, Mishnah 11. Kol ha'oseh mitzvah echad koneh praklit echad. Chazal, our sages say, anybody will do one mitzvah, and he will buy from himself angel that will protect her. This is the malach, this is the angel was created from the mitzvah. כמו שאמרו בתוספות, בסוף הזוהר הקדוש. It says in the Zohar HaKadosh, Tzulma de Barnash, the Al Barnash, he says, Tzulma, which means the shadow of the human, is depends on the mitzvot how he does. Yu malach de maneh al pikuda pikuda. Says Zohar HaKadosh also agrees and brings a proof that each time a person does a mitzvah, he creates an angel. Somebody does the mitzvah, he buys the angel that will protect her. What kind of angel protector? Protector, which just means that he able to say good stuff and good words about the person that did the mitzvah. It says in Masechet Sotah in page 3. Chazal says each time a person does mitzvah, that mitzvah after 120 goes in front of him, and he's going in front of the verse says it goes in front of a person, which means whatever the righteous deed that he did. And this is the angel goes in front of him and says following: make a space, make a place. That's why the malach said in the time of the Akedah of the Abraham to Yitzchak, says you should not extend your hand to the Yitzchak Avenu, so to do the Akedah. Don't do nothing, not even blemish. Even the angel told to Abraham Avenu, do not put your hand. That's it, finish. Hashem gave you the test, you passed the test. Abraham Avinu thought that he did not do the mitzvah completely. He want to take a little bit of blood from the Yitzchak Avinu. Like it says in a Bereshit Rabbah, in Parashat Nun Vav, 56, Siman Yud. Hamalach haziru shelo asa ken me'uma. Like Midrash says, the Malach says to Abraham Avinu, do not do anything to your son. Ki ha-mitzvah ze nisayon akedah nistayema. Says once the test passed, that's it. Your test passed, you don't need to do nothing. וכן אמרו לו, ולא חסכת את בנך ידיך ממני, כי הלא ראיתי ראותו שנבראתי מן המצווה הזאת. The angel says to Avraham Avinu, you already created me from this mitzvah and it's complete. You don't need to do nothing. ואני שלם, I'm complete. ולא חסר ממנו מאומה. You don't need to do nothing to Avraham Avinu, the angel says. ממנו תלמד, we learn from the Avraham Avinu that when happened Akedat Yitzchak, כבר רוצה אלוקים את המעשיך. הקדוש ברוך הוא is already fulfilled his deed, whatever deed, and he needs to be done. ונשלם ניסיונך. And you had the test, whatever the test you need to put to the difficulty, you passed it. בעבור המעשים שאתה בהלכתך בזריזות לקיים מצווה בורך. It says that because Avraham Avinu did mitzvah, which is bringing Akedat Yitzchak so quick and fast, haste, we have to be in a mitzvah fast and quick. Haste. Ima etzim va'esh ma'achelet. Et ha'etzim va'esh ma'achelet. He says to put the wood to fire, to have the sword מה לך לפגוע בנער? He says, what is it for you? You're going to right now come in and you're going to put a blemish in a na'ar, which means a teenager. וכן הם אמרו במדרש, בראשית רבה, פרשת נ"ו, and מדרש continues says, אמר לו, כלום אמרתי לך, שחטא, לא אמרתי אלא העליהו. So, הקדוש ברוך הוא says to אברהם אבינו, I didn't tell you שחטאו. I didn't tell you to slaughter him. אמרתי, I told you to אברהם אבינו, just pick him up and put him on top of the מזבח. אחר שעליתי אותו והורידוהו. Once you lift him up, bring him down. כי כבר תם ונשלם ניסיון. The test for אברהם אבינו just passed. וכן אמרו ברז"ל, חז"ל our sages says, פרשת ניצבים, שכל המתחיל מצווה ואינו גומרה, קובר את אשתו ואת בניו. חס ושלום, it says over here, somebody started the mitzvah. He did not finish the mitzvah. He says, if he started the mitzvah and he did not finish, he started the mitzvah and he did not finish the mitzvah, chas v'shalom, he's going to bury his kids and his wife. כמו מצינו אצל יהודה, like we see from Yehuda, שהחיל מהמצווה הצלת יוסף. Yehuda was in the beginning saving the Yosef. ולא סיים אותה, but he didn't finish. That's why in a selling of Yosef in parasha, the previous parasha we see, that Yosef been sold. Then all of a sudden, the story goes to the Yehuda, how he met Tamar and everything like that. Then we see how his kids, his wife, passing away. What's the story is about? How's the right away the Torah switches from the Yosef to the Yehuda? To Chazal from they learn that somebody started the mitzvah. Yehuda started the mitzvah to save his life, but he did not finish it. That's why Yehuda buried his two sons, Er v'Hanan. ולא סיים אותה, בעצה נמכר לישמעאלים. בעצתו, in his advice, they were sold to Ishmaelim. שהיה עלול לטמא בין הנוכרים. So following it says, because the Yosef able to become itameh, which just means what we say that people intermarried with others, with other nations. So Yosef chas v'shalom would have been intermarried with others. שהיה עלול לטמא בין הנוכרים, לכן נענש על זה. That's why the Yehuda was punished because he did not finish the mitzvah. כי המלאך מתחיל לבצר את התחלת המצווה. Says Malach in the beginning telling us how to do mitzvah. Nishar chasele bli yadayim v'raglayim. Sometimes we do mitzvah without the hands, without the legs. Perfect example we use is most of the time when we start the davening, Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar, this is the legs. We start davening, then we don't have we don't do the korbanot. We say, what time is the Baruch She'amar? That means we're missing the legs. We have the body, we have the eyes. Sometimes the eyes are not there, which just means we're not doing the tzitzit. We're not doing all these prayers. It's not finished. That means we all the time. Can I go back? Of course we could make up going back. So we're putting legs on top of the head. Yeah, of course it's better than nothing. But we should not do this mitzvot to do it so fast and quick and say when we're going to not completely. L'ulam gam b'li einayim, shelo nistayma mitzvah. Ne'efach sanigor, he says, chas v'shalom, that prosecuting angel was going to be for the person. Val shelo seyem mitzvah. He does not finish the mitzvah. Nishar malak kemo bal mum. He creates the angel with a bal mum, which just means blemish, without the hands, without the legs. So imagine an angel, allegorically speaking, an angel without the eyes. How he's going to walk, and we say right now that he's going to walk in front of a person and he's going to say all the good deeds that he did. He said, Chas v'shalom, he's creating instead of angel, a good angel, he's creating a bad angel, which is mikatrek, which just means prosecuting. He says a person does one mitzvah. Amru Baba Batra, page Yud. He says in Baba Batra in page 10. All the charity and the kindness that people do in this world. Says we're building a big castles between us and Hashem. Masechet Sotah says following, Masechet Sotah in page 3b. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says following. Says anybody of us doing mitzvah is going to go in front of us in a share in the world to come. Shenemar Isaiah 18:58-8. Says the והולך לפניך צדקתך. Whatever the righteous deed that we did, the kavod is going to go in front of the Hashem. וכל העובר עבירה אחת, what if a person did חס ושלום one sin? מלפות כורכת אותו והולכת לפניו ליום הדין. The avira, the sin, also is going to wrap him up and is going to go in front of the day of the judgment. שנאמר איוב, like it says in Eov 6:18, יפלטו אורחות דרכם יעלו בתוהו ויעבדו. Eov says something unbelievable. He says, all these sins is going to go in front of the person and it's going to wrap him up until they're going to destroy him. יש לפרש כנה, מלכותא דרקיע מעין מלכותא דהרעה. Says, whatever we have in the heavens, we have in this earth. המנהג בעולם שבו אדם נכבד להזמין את הרב הגדול של העיר. Says, if the rabbi comes, somebody נכבד, respectful rabbi come to the city, לבוא מיד ביתו לערוך חופה וקידושין לכדו, יקר. He says, a rabbi comes in, he does for his grandson, חופה וקידושין. הרב נענה ואמר לו, לך לפניי. Rabbi says, go in front of me. ואני בוא אחריך, I will come after you. מליתי את אבריך וילכו שניהם אל מקום חופה, two of them, the grandfather and his nephew, not nephew, grandson going in front. הרב צעד אחריו, אין זה מצורך שבכל רגע יפנה האיש פניו לאחריו מיד פעם בפעם. He says, each time his grandson is looking back, where is his grandfather? לראות את הרב ברח ממנו חלב והלך לו. He says, the rabbi, which is his grandfather, ran away from him. בוודאי שהוא יבוא אחריו בהבטחתו. He says, of course, his grandfather will come him in הבטחתו, which is he will come after him with the הבטחה, surprising. לכמו מיועד. זה מכובד מכבד הבריות. He says, this is considered you respecting other people. לא כן, אם לא כן, איזה קצין משטרה נמצא אצלו אמבולנס. It's not the same thing he says when somebody is ambulance or somebody being stopped by the police. של תמונת הפושעים, מיד פעם מסתכל בהם. He says, look at these detectives, they all the time look at the criminals, how to catch them. כדי לזהותם, לתפסם, להביאם למשפט. They're looking how to bring these criminals to the judgment. והנה בהלכתו ברעוב עיר פוגש באיזה פושע. The police is searching for the people, that is the criminals, and all of a sudden they find him. הוא מתקרב אליו, the police officers come close to him. מזהה אותו בהודתו. He recognized who is these people are. ואמר לו בוא עמי למשטרה. The police says, come with me to the police precinct. הלא הוא בקשה לך לפניי, אני אבוא אחריך למשטרה. So the person, the criminal says, police, you don't worry. Detectives, you have no worry. I will meet you in a police precinct. Does it ever going to happen or never going to happen? It's never going to happen. Mi pete yisuri neila amin. He says, who is going to be such a gullible to even believe these people? Lidvrei poshea. He's a criminal. Halo bavadai borech yivrach v'lo yavo et bet hamishpat. Of course he's going to run away. He would never come to the police precinct. Halo katzin lokech midat azakim koro imo miyad bayad. He says right away the police or the detectives, they will put right away handcuffs on a person. כדי להביאו משטרה ולתת את הדין. In order for him to come to the judgment, in front of the judge. ועל כן פושע מעל עליו. כי הדבר כן, he says that's the way the avirah goes, a sin. והעושה מצווה מקדימו לכת לפניו. A person does a mitzvah, he goes in front of him. לקבל שכרו, and is accepted the reward. כי הנה שכרו אותו פעולתו לפניו. Whatever the job that we did, whatever how much performance we did, it's going to go in front of us. אבל העובר עבירה נדרש לעמוד בדין. But somebody did a sin, he's going to stand in front of the judge. לשלם או גמול בראשו. Whoever is going to the wrong path, he's going to get paid. אז המלאך הבלה קרחו עמו כדי שיבוא ייתן הדין לפני דין של מעלה. He says the angels, מלאכי חבלה, which means angels of dogs, will come in and they will take a person to the judgment day. זה מלפפות הולכת עמו. They wrap him up and they're going with him to the heavens. קונה לפרקליט אחד. They say, he buys for himself one praklit, which just means attorney that are able to protect him in a share in the world to come. If a person does one mitzvah. מי שיטרח עצמו לקיים דברי פוסקים, הראשונים, לפסק הלכה כדבריהם. A person, he learns Gemara, then he goes to poskim, which just means halacha, and halachically what he needs to be drawn. Bottom line, we need to learn the halacha. שהוא נפטר ויצא לעולם האמת, a person learning halacha, and learning ראשונים, and he goes to the share in the world to come. Okay. הפוסקים הם יוצאים לקראתו. Says this is all the poskim that he learned, they're going to come, and they're going to greet him. Okay? Baba Kama, it says in 111, Amar Rava, כשבני Rav Oshia, נפקא לבטא, when Rav Oshia passed away, and he went to the Lavaya, ואין ספק אם משיב דעתו מרן שולחן ערוך כמו קושיות אחרונים. If a person learns Maran Shulchan Aruch, of course, he's gonna, everything that he has a problem with the questions about the Achronim v'Rishonim, he's gonna answer. Ma'amid halacha kedevrei Maran yizkei yotze Maran likrato. If a person goes according to what the Maran Shulchan Aruch says, of course, the Maran is gonna go in front of him, is gonna greet him. Chen raui lanu la'asot, and that's what we're supposed to do. Shu praklit gadol nizgav me'en kamohu. He says we're going to have a big palace. We don't have no idea. If we're going to take everything in this world, we're going to chip in. כיוצא בזה מצינו מהמגד מישרים, פרשה ויקל עמוד קצ"ד. Parasha Vayekel in page 194 says following, Magid, which is given to Maran Shulchan Aruch, he given him Musar. שאמר מלאך המגיד למרן רבנו יוסף קארו, מה מלפפתת אתמול הדברי רמב"ם. Says, the Magid says to the Maran, what's happening? Yesterday you had the Rambam question. What's the question on Rambam? Divrei emet hem, Rambam samach b'cha al shirat, al shirat al asaf da'ato. He says, you, the way you taught, that's the way the Rambam taught, and he was very happy. That's what the Malach came in. So you're going to say, I'm going to be the same thing. If I would have Malach, I would learn halachot all day, I would not go to work. That's what we're going to say, right? If we would have had a Malach, we had the same thing, I would have been the greatest Kabbalist. I would have asked this Malach, how do things work? Okay, today's a lottery, we $1.3 billion, right? Tell me just, and I will fill it up, I'll buy all the yeshivot in the world. And that's it. No. Malach only been created by how much misur nefesh, how much you were given for yourself for the Torah. We're going to learn about it. כשכבת הרמב"ם, נפיק אדמתך דמצית הלכה כבטא. השלמי מוליף עליך זכותה. He says you have the zchut of the Rambam. הן ראיתי אור מגיד שלמה, אב בית דין, רבי יהושע, אב בית דין קרקו. בעל שאלות תשובות פני יהושע. פני יהושע we have all over the Gemara. Okay? פני יהושע, look what he did. להשב פירושיו רש"י מקושיות בעל התוספות. So בעל התוספות have many problems with Rashi. So he says, Pnei Yeshua, okay? He did whatever the kushiyot that they have on Rashi, he would mitaretz. Acharon. It's a couple 100 years ago. And by the way, he basically, in the beginning of Akdama, if I remember in Pnei Yeshua, I read it. The reason I read it because I usually don't read Akdamot. Yanuka brought him up as one of the part that he made a sense over there about the Eretz Israel. So it says that Pnei Yeshua brings in a Ketubot in 110, it says that every day a person walks in the Eretz Israel, his sins getting forgiven. So if the sins were forgiven every day, that somebody walks in Eretz Israel, how come the Bet HaMikdash destroyed? So the question Pnei Yeshua is asking is a good question. Why didn't the Bet HaMikdash destroy if the sins are forgiven? What we say, Ba'avonot, Arabim, Ba'avonotenu, Ba'avonot Avotenu, for our forefathers and our sins, the Bet HaMikdash destroyed. But if every day the Bet HaMikdash was Michaper, first of all, Michaper, which just means the Mizbeach Michaper was forgiveness. And the fact that a person walks in Eretz Israel, the sins are forgiven. So if that's the case, why we still being out of the Eretz Israel in exile? That's the question. So the Yanuka asked this question, and he says, go look at Pnei Yeshua. And I look at the introduction. Actually, him and his family all burned in a house, right? His wife and his kids. And he was very, very in a bad position. And he writes, he says, Ribono shel olam, if you restore everything in my life, I would do whatever the Rashi, they have a Tosafot, and Rashi, they have a Kushia, I would answer all of them. That's what the Pnei Yeshua did. And Pnei Yeshua also all over the Gemara. He's Acharon. Yeah. So look what it says in Pnei Yeshua. When Maran Chida came to the Krakow, okay, because he was in a galod, and he was collecting charity for his yeshiva, even back then, the Gedolei Olam, and he took his book and he started reading it, and he left it. And he had questions and many things. He read it one day, Maran Chida, one night. And afterwards, when this happened, he left the hotel. So somebody brought the book back to Pnei Yeshua and they said, "This is your book, right?" He says, "Yeah." He looked at it and says, "Go bring me. I need to find him. Where is this Maran Chida? Find him. He's a Gedol Hador," he says. So he gave him all the askamot to have, if you give it to somebody tzedakah, you give it to Gedol Hadorim. He's not some local that people is asking for, begging for charity. Even he was subdued to him, understand of the knowledge. Okay.
He basically made comments on his book.
Yeah, overnight, overnight, just a couple hours. He says it's genius. he said about the Chida is genius. You understand? Pnei Yeshua, him himself, in order for you to know all the Tosafot and Rashi, you know all the Machlokot, you need to be very, very on point, not just write something. You understand? So let's go. Zok the Pnei Yeshua, בעל התוספות, הקדמה, אוקיי, נכבד מחבר, שכתב גאון מחבר, אמר בפני תלמידיו, כי רש"י בוא אליו בחלום, בשמחה גדולה. He says, the Pnei Yeshua came Rashi in his dream and said following with the happiness, אמר לו, בשביל שאתה טרחת להציל אותי. Says, you so-called save me. What's Rashi? Rashi, we can't even have idea. Rashi is the whole Tanakh. Rashi in Am Yisrael 24/7. There's no Rashi not 27. From the 4 years old until 120 years old. Everybody is Rashi. Look what Rashi tells him. It's unbelievable. You understand? If somebody is saying Rashi, there's no Divrei Torah, we don't say Rashi. Okay? So it says, look, Ki Rashi b'a elav b'chalom, Pnei Yeshua says to his students, okay? בשמחה גדולה אמר, בשביל שאתה טורח להציל אותי מפני האריות והגיבורים. He says, because you saved me from the arayot, which is, we use the language, lions, וגיבורים, strong in the Torah, okay? חריפים בעל התוספות, they're very in a... אנא עתי לקבל לעולם הבא. He says, when you're going to come to עולם הבא, I'm the one who's accepting you. And Pnei Yeshua lived a couple hundred years ago. It's Acharon. So don't think that we don't have a chances. Okay? It's just how much Torah, how much we need to put an effort. Okay? Chaya, שביום פטירתו חצי שעה, half hour before passed away, קודם שקבע נר ישראל, והיו אצלו גדולי ישראל. They came by גדולי ישראל, came by Pnei Yeshua half hour before he passed away. אמרו לפניהם, פנו מקום לרבנו מאור עינינו, רבנו שלמה יצחק, שבוא עליי. Says Pnei Yeshua, make a space half hour before he passed away. Rashi coming to me and he's taking me. Okay? מאור עיניו שבא עליי, וכן קדושיו עמו, קבלו אותי בשמחה לראות לי את הדרך, את עץ החיים. He showed me the path of the tree of life. Okay? באשר עמדתי לימינו תמיד לתרץ מעליו קושיות בעלי תוספות. Always I was on the right side. Whatever the Rashi is on the right, Tosafot is on the left. In the first Amud, in the second, the opposite. The Pshira, which just means they made a peace. But over here, it's talking about the Pnei Yeshua, because he's a Acharon. It's not a Rishon. Acharon that able, and he says, make a space that he's greeting me. You understand? How much is it important? And there go difficulties to burn the wife and the kids. That's not something Yeshuva Dat, which just means set a mind that we all looking for what? Peace of mind, right? We're looking. Look at the Chachamim, what kind of peace of mind? What they went through, Gehinom, in a lifespan, and they still was not giving up. That means they had such a personality, and also begging in Hashem for that personality. It's not easy. Not every Chacham we read a lot of Chachamim, but they go through difficulties. Yes, they break. We're not saying they're not breaking, but they also know how to go back to the path. Okay? If a person goes through the Avira, there's a sin. What he buys for himself, a prosecuting angel. כתב מרן חידה במדבר קדמות. He says מרן חידה following. דע לך. על ידי חטא, he says, through the sin, מרן חידה says, נברא משחית אחד. He creates one destroyer. על חטאו אשר חטא, because he does sin, כאשר הוא שב בתשובה. What if he does tshuva? A person does tshuva. Hashem yitbarach barachamav barov chasadav. Hashem with his mercy and compassionate. Mivatel ma'alav kol mashchitim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever the destroyer that he created, he destroys it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei chabla nivra min ha'avirot hahem. The destroying angels was created from his sins. Limrod nitgadut shel ha'mashchitim. Even though the destroyers want to go against the person. Yesh yifaresh baze kavanat rapenu bayalkut. Tov Hashem lakol. He says, Hashem, like in Tehillim 145 says, we read it every day, Hashem is good to everybody. Yachol lakol, tamud lomar rachamav al kol ma'asav. His mercy on everything that he created. Kavanah af al pi she'akadosh baruch hu tov lakol. Even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu is good to everybody, let's not confuse over here. We say Hashem is forgive us anyways. Tshuva, no tshuva, it doesn't make a difference. We're missing the part tshuva. Okay, teshuvah. שרחמיו, אף על פי שהקדוש ברוך הוא טוב, מכל מקום רחמיו על כל מעשיו, אבל המשחית שנברא על ידי אווירה של חטא. What happens with the angel that was created through the sin? שעל ידי חטאו הרע עמד וילד שקר, ויצא העגל הזה, ואינו מעשה של הבורא יתברך, והגיע הפיקודה המשחית ההוא, לאחר ששב חוטא בתשובה שלמה כראוי, מאחסדי השם יתברך. He says, once a person does really proper תשובה, מתבטל משחית על פה על חמתו. Whatever the anger of this משחית has, is going to be everything nullified. ילקוד, איזיה, ישעיהו רמז, איתי, אמרה כנסת ישראל. כנסת ישראל says, the Shechina in front of הקדוש ברוך הוא. ריבונו של עולם, master of universe. אני מתביישת מן המקומות שעבדתי עבודה זרה. I become embarrassed the places I did idol worshiper. idol worship. שנאמר, ראי כדרכי בגיעי, די מה עשיתי, אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, אני סולח לך, שנאמר כל גאה ינסה. So הקדוש ברוך הוא says, whoever did a sin, if you do teshuva properly, I will forgive you. כל העושה מצווה אחד, עובר עבירה אחד. ועובר עבירה אחד. A person does one mitzvah, one sin. What is this? כתב מפורשים שכל המצוות צריכות כוונה. שולחן ערוך עם מרן says in סימן 65, 60 which is means סימן 60, הלכה 5, מצוות צריכות כוונה. כוונה which is means, we all the time we're using these bituim, a word, what do we use? Kavana, when we say Kabbalah. We never say Kavana, we say Shulchan Aruch. The first thing we say, when we use the word Kavana, that I heard from many people, and from Rabbeim, right away you say Kavana, it's like saying Kabbalah. Why can't we just say Kavana, whatever it says in Shulchan Aruch? Why can't we just quote first Shulchan Aruch? Mikol makom tzedakah matzino she'en tzarcha kavana. Tzedakah, when a person gives charity, does not need a kavana. Kemo mitzvat shechicha. Mitzvah shechicha, peya shechicha veleket, which is in the Mishnah, in the first Mishnah of peya. Chen amru batorat kohanim, uba b'pirush Rashi b'parasha vayikra, 8:17. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says following, Sefer Dvarim 24:19. Tiktikzor kitzirecha pasadecha. He says you need to take the crop from your field. Leman yivarecha Hashem elokecha, and Hashem will bless you with whatever the blessings. Harei kava katub birka baracha shimibo al yedei mitzvah basiach dat al yedei shechicha. So it says peya shechicha veleket, leket shechicha vepeya. He says he did not pay attention. He did a crop for his field. Amor mata sela tzorot b'kanfav nafal mimenu matzani nitparsem bo. So a person lost money, and this money, proper person found it. Does that person that lost it is going to get rewarded for it or no? Yes or no? Says yes, because mitzvot lo tzarcha kavana in a tzedakah. V'akadosh baruch hu kaveh la baracha. Akadosh baruch hu is going to give him blessing. Ad kan. Ze pirush ma'amru b'sechet kala b'maseh she Rabbi Tarfon Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Tarfon was very rich, and Rabbi Akiva was Rosh Yeshiva. She'orei lo katuv pezer natan leivinim. It says in the Tehillim, you should give money to the people that need it. She'im pazru ma'otav miparsem mehem aniyim. Says you would spread your money to the people that need it. Ma'ala katuv kilu natan la'ani. It's like giving to the poor person. Aman b'pei etachenayim Baba Batra, which is Baba Batra from 8 till 10b until 11 it goes, all the inyan shel tzedakah. That's one of the main Baba Batra. In the middle of the Baba Batra, they put this of the עניין of צדקה. ואין מה שכתוב בשירות חזון עובדיה, בדין מצווה צרכה כוונה. וזה צדקה שכתוב במדרש שמואל עוזידה, לפרש כל העושה מצווה אחת קונה פרקליט אחד. Somebody does מצווה, he gets himself an angel. עושה קיינו עושה מצווה אפילו בלי כוונה, קונה לפרקליט אחד. He says, even he does the מצווה צדקה, without even have כוונה, he still have an angel. כל העבירר עבירה היו במזיד. What if somebody does עבירה, a sin? He does it במזיד. במזיד we just purposely, right? הרי מצוות צריכות כוונה, אלא כגון צדקה אין צריכה כוונה לעשייתה. But the tzedakah is different. If a person does not have in mind to do it and give it anyways, does not need כוונה. פרי מגדים באתר גמורה, כוונת מדרש שמואל, מכל מקום מצווה מן המוכל, יכוון גם בצדקה. The best way also the מצווה, to have in mind also to do כוונה. היחד בשם, השם כנודע. So they have מטבע, which means yud, the quarters, pennies, sometimes we want to give $1, okay? So we could give $1, $2, $300, $200, $5,000, whatever it is. You could have the matbea, which means they use a general term. Matbea, which means any currency that is in a pennies, quarters, and everything like that, it's yud. Hey is the hey etzbaot, which means 5 fingers. Vav is the extension of the hand of the person. And hey, the one that the person accepted the tzedakah, this is considered vayat tzedakah shalom. He's like this, that's the best way to count. It's very easy. Yud K, Vav K. Yud is going to be the money, actual money. K is going to be 5 fingers. Vav is going to be the extension of the hand. And hey is completing Shem Hashem by his giving it. So it's always in a term of giving it. Prutar lemes od hey, like we said it. Vatshuva ma'asim tovim. Now we're going to the tshuva. Teshuvah, which means repentance and good deeds. Eita psikta Rav Kahana Shuva Israel Hashem Elokecha. Shuva Israel. Now we're not talking about synagogue Shuva Israel. We're talking about the pasuk Shuva Israel at Hashem Elokecha. Atu Hashem. Mashal leben hamelech shechala. Says the king's son became sick. Amar lo rofe im tochal min harofe hazot titrapeh. The king says to his son, listen to this doctor. Whatever he's going to give it to you, you're going to be healed. Vaya ben mityareh le'echol mimeno. Ben, the son, is afraid of him. Like in Putin, they say Putin. They say that anybody that eats, imagine living this chas v'shalom, this type of life. Anybody before he tries any meal, there's 10 people need to try before he's going to eat it, so they cannot poison him. Always in a stage. So it says same thing. Ben mityareh le'echol. Amar lo aviv, bini teda she'en harofeh ze mazik klal. The father, the king says, don't worry, my dear son, this doctor would not going to harm you. Harei ani ba'atzmi ochal mimenu tchila. He says, I'm eating first. Okay, whatever he's giving you. Kach amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. Very important point. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Am Yisrael, Im ata mitbayishim lachzor behem la'asot tshuva. A person should not be embarrassed to become Baal tshuva. Ani ani shav rishon. He says, I'm the one first did a tshuva. Allegorically speaking, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says through Yirmiyahu that HaKadosh Baruch Hu first does tshuva. Yirmiyahu in 30:18 says, Ki amar Hashem, Hineni shav shvud aholei Yaakov. He says, I'm coming back to the tents of Yaakov, which just means learning Torah. Mishkonotav orcham. Ma HaKadosh Baruch Hu she'eno bo chayet chas v'shalom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chas v'shalom should say that he does a sin. Ayo boro ulamot machrivam. With no tatkat dorot, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was creating 974 generation, then he destroyed them. Masech Hagigah gives the brief tatkat dorot, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did, and Dorshim over there in Mishnah, in Masechet Chagiga, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created 974 generation. Then we want to know 974 generation. If somebody want to know, I haven't touched that book maybe 10, 15 years, Ramak. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, he has a book just on Tatkat Dorot. Okay, Leshem Shabo V'Achlamo, Rav Eliashiv Grant's father, also have in this book on a Tatkat Dorot. The Arizal says we don't need to know too much about information because it's not Olam of Tikkun. We need to come to the Olam Tikkun. Tikkun, which is whatever the Arizal Shmona Sharimi wrote, that the Tikkun we need to know. But our Neshama, apparently, to many of my disciples, students, what do you want to call it, they're interested very in that much in that 974 generation. And sometimes I'm thinking maybe they are coming from those 974 generation, because that's what it says. Because they come every generation, and Adam HaRishon is supposed to be do tikkun on them. So that's why they keep asking about this 974 generation. Why would person is ask about these if it's not no shayach to the topic? Because it's olam, we need to do tikkun. Okay, Achi tekna rivraita olam. So he says, Akadosh Baruch Hu himself, kiviyachol dir tshuva. Neshav b'nei Adam, achad kama v'kama, ne'mar mechaseh peshav, lo atzliach, modeh ve'ozev yirucham. So a person, what he does, mechaseh peshav, he says, no, I'm not a sinner, I'm great, my heart is clean, everybody is clean, everything is clean. He's in a dry cleaning business. Lo yatzliach, modeh ve'ozev yirucham. Modeh ve'ozev yirucham. He needs to acknowledge, okay? V'ozef, and to leave it, Yerucham, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be mercy. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu leYirmiyahu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yirmiyahu Navi, Lech Omar leYisrael aseh tshuva. He says to Yirmiyahu, one of the prophets, says, why should I be the one, the punching bag? Imagine me all the time talking about tshuva. Who likes to? We always like stories, how great you are, how beautiful you are, how much mitzvot you do, how much tzaddik you are, how much chassid you are. Imagine bashing people all day, all night, okay? Sometimes we watch it for the show to charm Joe Rogan, right? But that's not the point the Torah is giving us. The prophet says, why should I be the one who's coming and rebuking the Jewish people? Because they're also trying to prosecute him, put him in jail, put him in the water with a stone. They say, why are you dying? We're trying to kill you. You're not dying it. Yeah, don't give us, I heard this many times, even from religion. Don't give us a bad news. Don't give us bad news. You tell them, you tell them the quote in Yirmiyahu, they say, don't give us a bad news. So it happened even from Yirmiyahu time. Abor lahem amar Rabbeinu Yirmiyahu. Ech ani osim atshuva, arbe chasu et HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says many people in the time of Yirmiyahu made HaKadosh Baruch Hu kiviyachol angry. Otam harim gvaot she'avdu sham avodah zarah kayimim. Says whatever the avodah zarah in that time they did, the mountains, whatever they were believing on, Shenamar Hosea, Dalit Yud Gimel, 4:13. Hosea Harim Yizbechu Al Gevod Yaktiru. Hosea says following, he brings, Yirmiyahu continues, then Hosea says in details what the Jewish people did on that time. Basically, they were doing to the mountains, to all these things, that nonsense like we say. They used to bring Torah. L'chen ne'emar Yirmiyahu 3:25. Nishkava bevishatenu v'techsenu klematenu. He says, what happened? We ambushed it. We were not embarrassed of doing stuff, okay? And whatever the wrongdoings we did, we just covered it and we said nothing wrong we did. Hashem la Hashem Elokeinu chatanu, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Omar lahem Yirmiyahu, Shuv meshuva Yisrael Hashem lo afil, pnei bachem, ki chasid ani num Hashem. Hashem says to Yirmiyahu, go tell Jewish people, you're going to be coming tshuva, you're going to be chassid, I'm going to forgive you. Atul le'olam, ve'atem ba'im alai, etzel avichem shebashamayim. You coming to me, the Heavenly Father, אתם באים שנאמר ירמיהו, כי הייתי לישראל לאב לאפרים בכורי הוא. So it says Yirmiyahu 31:8, says, כי הייתי לישראל אב. Yirmiyahu says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us, through Yirmiyahu, that you are my father, ואפרים בכורי, and Ephraim was the firstborn. תשובה מעשים טובים כתריס בפני פורענות. Oh, this is the topic that many, we have a difficulty with this. So we say all the time, do tshuva, things will change, things are going to become better, and especially many times I saw it, we go visit a patient that is a cancer. Then we do Pidyon Ben, we do so much Sidla Ma'alot, right? They give tzedakah, then he says, at the end of the day, he says, oh, he still passed away. How come? That's a good question. Tzedakah tatzil mivavid. We know that tzedakah saves the person from the death. So what happened over here? What went wrong? Right? So it says when the things happen wrong to the person, tshuva in a masim, right, tovim is gonna be for him mamlitz, which is gonna be they're gonna be the angels that would tell him to live longer. Of course, it's better to do tshuva before a person dies. Yes. but he needs to do many things, have to have a lot of zchuyot, a lot of merits before. הייתי פרקי דרבי אליעזר, פרקי דרבי אליעזר, רבי אליעזר בן חורקונוס, right? פרק מ"ג says בירושלמי, פרק חלק, in Yerushalmi in Sanhedrin, says following, בפסיקתא רבא, אמר רבי יהושע, תדע לך, כוח תשובה. Rabbi Yoshua says, understand the strength of the tshuva. ממנשה בן חזקיהו, מנשה, the son of חזקיהו. אשר עשה כל התועבת בעולם. He did all the wrongdoings, disgusting things in the world. What can he do? First of all, he killed his own grandfather, 86 years old, prophet. He's the longest prophet. Even in the Goyim world, they say he's the philosopher, so-called. Yeah, it's well known. Isaiah was very known. And we take a lot of pasukim from Isaiah. Okay? So, one of the things he did, he killed his own grandfather, right? Va'avir al benav ba'esh lemolich. He take his sons and he put it through molich, which is back then, they used to throw them in the fire. That's what he used to do. Okay? Begin bat anonum, v'onesh nechash, kishuv v'oseh ovi idoni. He used to take dead people, okay? And he used to give them all the information. The ovi idoni, we used to not allowed to do. He did it purposely to get Hashem angry. Okay? Vaydaber Hashem el Menashe. And Hashem speaking to Menashe. V'alamo lo akshivo. Menashe is not listening. How can Hashem speak? Now it makes for me a lot of sense. We could have the tshuva inside of us that Hashem wants us to come closer to Him. That's called also Vaydaber. It's an inner. We have inspiration. Right. So, right, that's what the Ben Ish Chai says. But the fact that you understand many topics is you have the Gilui Eliyahu. It could be Chizyon, which just means through understanding inside or through really actuality. Not the Eliyahu Fatach we're talking about over here coming from Netz Minyan. No, Eliyahu Hanavi, right? So it says over here, Hashem come to Menashe, okay? And you guys gonna say, Hashem does not come to me. If it will come to me, I will do tshuva, okay? So Hashem comes to Menashe, and Menashe says, no. Hashem alehem, et tzarei tzava shel hamelech Ashur. So what Hashem does, He brings a Syrian, not right now Assad or the new one that they made. They put through CIA or Americans, or they say he's a Mossad anyways, right? The new leader of the Syria. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings a king that is strong and powerful. Ve'ilkado et Menashe. Ve'isruchu b'nechushim ve'ilchuchu b'bala. So what they're taking him, Menashe, they really catched him. מה עשו? אמר רבי לוי, לקח גיגית של הנחושת, ועשו בו נקבים. So they took a nechoshet, copper, they took a cup of metal, and they put a little holes in it. ועשו בו נקבים, נתנו אותו בתוכה. And they put the Menashe inside these holes. Okay? והסיקו אש תחתיה. So basically they want to do barbecue out of him. Okay? They want to do barbecue out of him. להתחיל להזכיר שמות עבודה זרה. So all of a sudden he started giving the names of עבודה זרה. שיבוא להצילו משראש יועילו לו כלום. Nobody's helping. No names, no nothing. ואמר זוכר אני שהיה אבי מקרא אותי. Says, I remember whatever my father taught me. Before the end. He remembers what the father used to tell him. בשר לך ומוצאך, כל הדברים האלה. ואשבת את השם אלוהיך ושמעת בקולו. I know that my father told me, if you're going to come 100% to Hashem, Hashem is going to hear the voice. כי אין רחום, huh? Yeah, Menashe, of course. They know the whole Torah back and forth, by the way.
He saw him in prophecies, yeah.
Right. כי אין רחום השם אלוקיך, אמר הרי אני קורא בכל לבי, להשם he says, I'm from the bottom of my heart, אם ענה אותי מטוב. He says, you're going to answer, it's good. ואם לא, חס ושלום, אפייה שווין. He says, everything that my father taught me is zero. What are you doing? What do you think? Hashem is just your friend? You're right now sitting in a bargain deal? What are you in a Shark Tank business? Right? Mr. Shamsis, you don't have the social media. How did you know that? So, שהיו מלאכי שרת מסתלמים הלונות, ורקיע שלא תעלה תפילתו של מנשה. All the מלאכי השרת, they say his prayer is not going to get, his prayer is not going to get answered. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, אם אני אינו מקבל אותי בתשובה, הקדוש ברוך הוא says, I'm not accepting him through תשובה. אני נועל דלת בפני בעל התשובה. He says, I'm closing all the doors in front of בעל תשובה. I still don't understand. Why does he have a merit to be answered? Why not others did not have so much merit to be answered?
His father's
Okay, so what? So let me ask you a question. Er v'Anan was the grandkids of the Yankel Avinu. They didn't help him because they did a sin. Okay, no, but they also the vara'a be'enei Hashem. It says it was bad in God's eyes. So why he gets answered? Ma'akadosh Baruch Hu titei lo hatira mitachat kisei hakavod. He made for him special exception. In the Zohar anyway says, I never seen it. Rav Mordechai used to quote. He says Menashe. Actually, the Gemara says in the Gemara in the Sanhedrin. I think one of the Mefarshim on one of the commentaries, it says that Menashe stands in the doors of the Baal Tshuva and he's waiting for all the Baal Tshuva to enter. Okay? You saw this? So you see? So
I heard that Hashem allowed him to do all these things because this was his way of coming to Hashem, to go down all the way to pick up all the parts.
Okay, that's your pirush. Good. Masech Pesachim, page 119 says, so I heard many of these pirushim, like yours, right? They say, I'm going to go collect holy sparks, then they end up, I don't know where they end up, you understand? He's thinking his Menashe, he's reading Masechet Eruvin on page 18, Adam HaRishon was 130 years, was separated from his wife, and whatever he did, which is masturbating, and so-called, sorry for my language, and they say, okay, I'm going to go get the holy spark, okay, because the Adam HaRishon separated, because all the Shedim V'Lilin, he was not good soul, so he's spilling it. So the person says the same thing, holy sparks, I'm doing it, okay, and it's Tzaz HaKodesh, then you end up, I don't know, where is this end up? Okay? Amar Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Mai Dechtiv Vayedei Adam Mitach Kanavhem. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says following. זה ידו של הקדוש ברוך הוא שפרסה תחת כנפי חיות לקבל בעלי תשובה. He says, הקדוש ברוך הוא, so-called, extends his hands to accept the בעלי תשובה, the people that do the תשובה. מפני מידת הדין, שמע תחתנו נאמר כי עצר לו, חילה אל פני השם אלוקיו, ויכנע מאוד מפני השם אלוקי אבותינו, יתפלל לבא. He says, what happened? He subdued to Hashem, and he davened to Hashem. Okay? ודכתיב, ויחטיא לו לשון התירת מתחת. Basically what the Kadosh Baruch Hu did is a special tunnel that he created that angels would not see, that at the bottom of this line, heart, he did a tshuva. וישמע תחתנו וישווה ירושלים למלכותו. Not only that, he became back the king of the Yerushalayim. וידע מנשה כי השם האלוקים. He knew whatever the Avodah Zarah he did in the Yerushalayim outside, he'd been destroying it for 22 years, destroyed everything. ממשיבו ברוח באותו שאמר מנשה, את הדין ואת הדיין, ואמר ליהודה לעבוד את השם אלוקי ישראל. He says, now go everywhere. What he did, the biggest Baal Tshuva, I'm going to just make everybody Baal Tshuva.
So he became Baal Tshuva?
Obviously, yeah. Of course. שידע מנשה, כי השם ננהג עם בידת רחמים והצילו. מנשה knew. שידע מנשה, כי השם did with him, not through the judgment, through the mercy. אשר ויהיה ואיסור למשפט על רוב, פשב במידת הדין. זה נאמר תשובה ומעשים טובים, כתריסק בפני פורענות. He says תשובה, which just means repentance, ומעשים טובים, in a good deed, whatever the unfortunate is going to happen, he's going to be saved. So it says following, ונכל דור בדור עומדים עלינו לכלותנו. Every generation they want to destroy us, nothing new. Okay, nothing new. הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילה מידם. He saved us from them. How? What did he do? Can this own that's going to all of a sudden flip? And the other guy, he's the director of her, all of a sudden says, I need to protect. I was a historian teacher in a Brooklyn college, Jew. That's not what help us. בזכות תורה ומצוות ומאמצים עם ישראל. It says in the zchut, the Torah and mitzvot, how much the Am Yisrael has. We could see it even openly when Iran, rockets, 180, 190 rockets, right? Baruch Hashem, not even one fell even in the Gaza, right? The collective mitzvot, yeah. People, you go everywhere right now. People reading Tehillim, people doing mitzvot, maasim tovim, itororut. It's a big itororut. What do you think? It's just going to go, one day they called Bibi Netanyahu, they call him a godfather. He's sitting over here in UN drinking coffee, right? this African guy drinking a jug. He thinks he's in Africa, everything spills on him, right? The BBY is saying the Iran is a snake and we're going to make the Middle East. All of a sudden they're taking the chief of the Hezbollah, what's his name, Nasrallah, and they're killing him while he's giving a speech over here and drinking coffee. So it's like a godfather that he cleans everybody while giving speeches over here, right? And sitting in a steakhouse over here in New York City. מכל מקום שגלה גלתה שכינה עמהם להציל מקו אויב. He says, anyway, the Shekhinah came with us and do revenge. הבן יקיר לאפרים, רחום ארחמנו נאום השם. Hashem says, רחום ארחמנו, I'm a mercy. כי לולא רחמיו ורוב חסדיו, הקדוש ברוך הוא mercy and continue being mercy. אז חיים, בעלנו בחרת אפנו, ברוך השם שלא נתנו טלף לשניהם. ברוך השם, Hashem has given us the goal in his path, and that's mitzvot or maasim tovim, not hama. Before October 7, we did had the airplanes, the Iron Dome, we had everything, the best intelligence, right? We had everything, nothing. In law, we have a phrase to say from the Tehillim. It says in the Tehillim, if I'm not mistaken, 127, it says that im lo shakai ir shomer, right? I'm not quoting the pasuk properly. In HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's nothing. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not shomer, nothing gonna help. Okay? No technology, no nothing. That's what we're realizing. Okay? שיהיה רצון שהקדוש ברוך הוא תן לנו ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה דסייעתא דשמיא. תודה רבה על ההקשבה. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. What a pleasant time we have you here, Mr. Shamsi. What gets you here?